Welcome to another episode of Terry's Notes, and today we're going to be looking at another type of transformation, which is a rotation. And this is probably one of the most difficult types of questions for students to answer. So let's look at our first example. So we have a triangle here, which is a BC, and we are going to rotate this triangle about the origin, right? So that's about this point here, and we are going to rotate it 90 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction. Now in the examination you will be asked to describe, if you're asked to describe a rotation, right, as fully as you can, you need to give one, the center of rotation, you need to give the direction of the rotation, right, that is clockwise or anti-clockwise, and the third thing you need to give is the angle of rotation. Right, so in this example we are doing here, the center of rotation is the origin, which is 0, 0. The direction is anti-clockwise, and the angle is 90 degrees. Right, now make sure you understand what is clockwise and anti-clockwise. Now clockwise means we are moving this way, so this is clockwise, and if we are moving this way, this is anti-clockwise. Right, this may seem trivial, but some students confuse this. So if we move in the direction in which a normal clock moves, we say it is clockwise. And if we are going against the clock, it's called anti-clockwise. Okay, so let me show you what the image looks like. So this is what the image looks like after a rotation of 90 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction about the origin. Right? Now, this is a typical examination question here. They will give you the image and the object, and they will ask you to describe the transformation as fully as you can. Now, if you notice, the triangles of the object and the image, they are identical, right? They are also congruent, right? We did reflections, we did translation in another video, and we said the triangles were congruent, right? Now, what is difficult for students to do is to identify where the center of rotation is and also the angle of rotation. Like, just by looking at this is something that is difficult for many students. Okay, so let me draw some lines and I will show you what is actually happening here. Okay, so we have our object. This is our object and this is our image. Right, now in terms of rotation, right, what we do, we draw a line from the center of rotation. So let's consider the point E, right, and this is our center of rotation, that is this point here. First thing we do, we draw a line from the center of rotation to the point E, that is this red line here, right, and then what you do, now you have to let's say we have they give us the object and we want to find the image. So the first thing you do, you draw a line from the center of rotation to the point E, and then you take your protractor and you're going to measure 90 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction. So we're going to measure this angle here. So this here represents 90 degrees, right? And then we're going to take our compass and we're going to draw an arc. So we're going to go along this line here. I'm going to draw an arc, and when we reach 90 degrees we're going to stop, and this will represent the point E prime, right? Let's say we use the point B now. So we have B here. We're going to draw a line from the origin, which is here, to the point B, which is this blue line here, We're going to take our protractor. We're going to measure 90 degrees. Now 90 degrees will be this angle here. I'm just drawing it large so you can see which angle I'm speaking about. Alright, then we're going to take our compass and we're going to put one point at the center of rotation here, and then we're going to draw an arc. That's this arc here that I'm drawing until we make 90 degrees in a anti-clockwise direction, and then this will be the point B. Right? In order to get the point C, we draw a line from the origin to the point C. That's this pink line here. And then we're going to measure 90 degrees. So 90 degrees is going to be here. Right? That is 90 degrees. Then we're going to take our compass, put one point at the center of rotation, and we're going to put it at C, and then we're going to make an arc. Right? And we're moving in an anti-clockwise direction until we reach 90 degrees. And this will be the point C prime. Okay? So just try to visualize what I'm doing here. The only way to get this is by actually practicing it on graph paper, using a protractor, a compass, right, and plotting the points. Okay, let's look at this second example. So we have a triangle ABC again, right? So A, B, and C, and the center of rotation in this case is going to be -2, -1, right? That is this point here. And we are going to rotate it in a clockwise direction of 90 degrees. Now, in order to do that, first thing we do, we draw a line. Let's say we start with the point C. We draw a line from the center of rotation to the point C. Then we're going to measure, we're going 90 degrees, so it's 90 degrees clockwise, right? So we're going to measure 90 degrees here. So this will be, so we know that C must lie somewhere along this line, right? Right. So what you have to do now is take your compass. So when you measure the 90 degrees, just draw a long line going this way, right? Then you're going to take your compass, put one end, that's the pointy side, put it at the center of rotation, and we're going to draw an arc. Right? I'm just sketching here. Right? And therefore this point here will be the point C prime. Okay? If we want to do it for the point B as well, we draw a line from B to the center of rotation. So we go straight down here, and we're going to measure 90 degrees. Now because of how the triangle is, this will also be 90 degrees here. So we put our compass, the pointy part, at the center of rotation, and we draw a large arc. Right? Let me just check something here. So when we draw the arc, we're going to get something looking like this. And where it intersects this line, this will be B prime. Okay? And then we have to do the same thing for E. We have to draw a line from the point E to the center of rotation. then we are going to measure (90°). So if we measure 90 degrees, that'll be something like this, and we're going to draw a line right, a long line. So this is 90 degrees. Then we're going to put the our compass, put the shiny point or the pointy part here at the center of rotation, and then we're going to draw a large arc, right? So this will probably be something like this. When it intersects, this will be our point E prime. So our triangle now, the image will be this. Right? Now, like I said, in order to get this, you have to practice doing this on graph paper. Okay? So let's look at the solution. So in this case, this was our object, and this is our image, right? And in terms of our construction lines, this is what I've done here. So this is our object, and this is our image, right? Now we know that this is our center of rotation, which is -2, -1, and let's look at the point E. This is E here, right? Now we have to draw a line from the point E to the center of rotation. This is this red line here. We're going to measure 90 degrees. So this is essentially what I explained before, and this is where you draw the arc, right, in order to get the point E. Now we can say that this rotation is a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise, or if you notice something here, we can rotate in this direction, or we can also rotate in this direction and end up at the image, right? So this angle here, right, is actually 270 degrees, right? Because this angle here is 90 degrees. So we can say the rotation is 90 degrees clockwise, or 270 degrees anti-clockwise, right? So let's look at another type of question they can ask. So in the examination, they can give you an object and an image. So this is our object here, and this is our image. And a typical question is to find describe the transformation first of all. Now if we look at this transformation, it is not a reflection, right? Because the images, there doesn't seem to be a mirror line, right? It is not an enlargement because the object and the image are the same size. It is not a translation because if you look at it, the orientation has shifted. So therefore we may assume that it's a rotation, and typically you will have to find the center of rotation. Now in order to find the center of rotation, here's what you have to do. You have to take, let's say, the point E and join it to the point E prime. So you're joining the object to its image. Alright, that's the first thing you're going to do. Then we're going to find the perpendicular bisector of that line. Right? Now if you remember from your construction using compass and protractor, in order to find the perpendicular bisector of a line, all you need to do is to use your compass. So you put the pointy part at the point E, and then you're going to make an arc, right? But that arc has to be greater than half of the length of the line A prime. Then you're going to put the pointy part at A prime, and using the exact same arc, you're going to draw an X line here, right? And you're going to get the perpendicular bisector as being this line here, right? Now this is just a sketch, this could be wrong. I have the solution on another slide here. Oh, okay, it was that. So we had our object and our image. So let me explain how we do this. So we join A to A prime with this green line here, right? So there's this green line coming down here, right? So we're going to use, you would have used your compass, and with the pointy part at E, you're going to make an arc that's going to look like this, and then you're going to put the pointy part at A prime, and you're going to draw another arc. It's going to look like this. So this line here, right, represents the perpendicular bisector of A prime, right, which is this line coming down here, right? So that's only one step. Next thing you need to do, you need to take a second point. So I'm using the point C this time, right? So this is the point C, and we're going to use C prime. We're going to draw a line between C and C prime, and we're going to find the perpendicular bisector of that line. So in order to do that, you put your pointy part of your compass at the point C prime, and you're going to make an arc, right? The arc is, I'm just sketching here. When you use the actual compass, you probably get something different. And then you take your pointy part, you put it at C using the exact same arc, and you're going to draw, right? So then you're going to get this line here, this blue line, which represents the perpendicular bisector of C prime. So let me just write what we're doing here. So we have A prime is one line, and we are finding the perpendicular bisector, right? And then we have C prime, and we're going to find the perpendicular bisector of that line. And where these two perpendicular bisector intersects, they intersect at this point here, right, which is -4, 1, right? So therefore the center of rotation is -4, 1, right? Now in an examination, this will probably take you some time to work out. So I would suggest that you practice doing some questions based on rotation, right? Like I said, for most students, rotation seems to be the most difficult transformation to deal with, right? Sometimes you look and you cannot easily recognize what the transformation is, all right? So just to summarize, in order to get the center of rotation, we need to use 2 points. So we used A and A prime, right? And we found the perpendicular bisector of A prime. Then we use C prime, and then we found the perpendicular bisector of that. And where the two perpendicular bisectors intersect, right, which is this point here, that is our center of rotation. Okay? So in this case here, what was our angle? If we draw a line from the center of rotation to, let's say, E, and we draw a line from here to E prime, we use our protractor and we measure this angle here, and that angle there is 90 degrees. So therefore we are rotating this object, or the triangle ABC, 90 degrees in a clockwise direction, right? So I will do some past paper questions on rotation to make sure that you get the hang of it. Okay,